नमस्ते गेमर्स द लेजी गेमर्स नेपालको MLBB कम्युनिटी हो। हिरो स्टोरीज, मोन्टाज क्लिप्स र टुर्नामेन्ट अपडेट्सको लागि जोइन हुनुहोस्।
All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into some seriously dark and fascinating Mobile Legends lore, the story of Khufra, the Desert Tyrant. We're going to explore the complete history of a ruler whose ambition was so extreme, it literally became a terrifying legend. You know, long before we all learned to fear his crowd control on the battlefield, he was feared for an entirely different reason. He was a conqueror who believed that the desert, the cities, the armies, and, well, even love itself existed for one reason only, to obey his commands. This isn't just your standard story about warfare. It's a deep dive into the psychology of a man who just absolutely could not accept the word no.
So think about this for a second. What actually happens when a ruler's hunger for power grows so immense that history itself decides it has to bury him? Far out in the western desert, way beyond the normal trade routes, there was once this ancient hidden city called Tivacan. Time went on, empires rose and completely vanished, but Tivacan just stayed buried in the sand. To everyday people, it was nothing but a ruin. To historians, it was just another lost civilization. But to the very few who knew its darkest history, Tivacan was a monument to one man's completely uncontrolled ambition.
There's this saying in the lore that just perfectly sets the stage for a king whose legacy was built purely on fear. It goes, "Some heroes are remembered because they saved kingdoms. Khufra is remembered because a kingdom had to be saved from him." It's chilling, right? And the crazy thing is, he wasn't born a monster. He was actually a highly charismatic human ruler, a king who really understood politics, war, and authority. He had this undeniable magnetic presence. The problem wasn't that he was weak. The problem was that absolutely nothing was ever enough. A thriving city, endless gold, a massive kingdom, none of it satisfied him. He didn't just want to rule over people, he wanted to own their future. When you actually trace the scale of his greed, it reveals this terrifying era of expansion. Khufra took command of the brutally powerful army of Arnak, using them as his personal instrument of conquest. He pushed outward from Tivacan, literally swallowing territory after territory across the western desert. Wherever his banners showed up, resistance was crushed with zero mercy, and every single victory just fueled the next war, stretching his empire further out. But eventually, this relentless, decades-long campaign hit a brick wall, and that wall was the Minoan Empire. They were incredibly strong, and for the very first time, Khufra had to face the reality that military strength alone wasn't going to give him total control of the desert.
So what do you do when your army hits its limit? Well, if you're Khufra, you definitely don't ask for a peace treaty. Instead, he pivoted to magic, specifically the forbidden depths of astrological power. He started seeking out astrologers who understood the deepest secrets of the cosmos. But here's the catch. Khufra didn't care about the sacredness of this knowledge. He wasn't looking for balance or enlightenment. He wanted a weapon. He wanted to break the Minoan Empire and force the desert to its knees. Naturally, the wisest astrologers saw right through this and flat out refused to help him. And Khufra's response? He just silenced anyone who got in his way.
Which brings us to the real tragedy of this explainer. Enter Esmeralda. Unlike the other astrologers who were horrified by his cruelty, Esmeralda actually saw something else in him. She was drawn to that unwavering confidence, that raw power, the dangerous charm of a king who seemed completely larger than life. What started out as simple fascination turned into attraction, and then into love. I mean, she probably genuinely believed she could fix him, right? She thought that with her guidance, her magic could protect the kingdom, and maybe she could soften the tyrant into a just ruler. But here is the absolutely crucial truth of this whole saga. The incredible magical power she gifted him, it didn't heal his corrupted heart, it just magnified his arrogance. You know, sometimes a grand tragedy isn't about an innocent person having bad luck. It's the story of someone who had literally every single chance to change, who was handed a shot at redemption on a silver platter and actively threw it away. Esmeralda's love and that astronomical power could have brought about an era of peace. But Khufra chose domination every single time. He didn't become wiser, he became infinitely worse. His descent into complete tyranny was just rapid. First, he eagerly drinks in Esmeralda's magical support, but instead of securing his borders, the magic completely warps him. He becomes even more cruel, more arrogant. He starts viewing Esmeralda's magic not as a gift from a partner, but as property that belongs to him. And then, his megalomania just explodes. It's no longer about the western desert or defeating the Minoan Empire. Nope. Now he demands absolute dominion over the entire Land of Dawn. He stopped seeing civilizations as living, breathing things. To him, they were just real estate waiting to be claimed. So now, Esmeralda is standing at this impossible, heart-wrenching crossroads. She's realizing the horrifying reality that the man she loves is becoming an unstoppable monster that history will curse forever. He can't be saved by loyalty or softened by affection. He is fully consumed. And this creates one of the most powerful emotional conflicts in all of the lore. She has to choose. Does she side with the person she loves and watch him burn the world to the ground? Or does she save the world from him? Knowing countless innocent people would die, she made the hardest choice. She chose the world. Just picture the emotional weight of that fateful night. Esmeralda goes to Khufra. To him, it probably just feels like another moment of affection, another boost of limitless power from his partner. But this time, the magic isn't a gift. It's a binding curse. Khufra suddenly feels this heavy, suffocating force wrapping around him, and he realizes, way too late, that the only person he trusted has chosen to stop him. He tries to fight it, thrashing against the magic with pure, unadulterated rage, but the spell is just too strong. And as she sealed him away into eternal slumber, Esmeralda wept. Not because she hated him, but because love demanded she lock away the monster he chose to become. And then, silence. For hundreds of years, Khufra slept beneath the crushing weight of that curse, entombed deep under the ruins of Tivacan. Above ground, the world just kept turning. Empires turned to dust, and the visceral terror of his army slowly faded away. The smoke cleared from the western desert. Over generations, his actual name devolved from a terrifying historical fact into a myth, a ghost story you'd tell the scare kids. Down there, in the dark, his human body faded, transforming him into this ancient undead thing, kept intact solely by the sheer force of his obsession. But of course, ambition like that doesn't just die. It waits. Centuries later, a massive, cataclysmic energy wave from a mysterious orb strikes the western desert. It violently disrupts and eventually shatters that ancient seal. The magic breaks. Khufra opens his eyes. And let me tell you, he didn't wake up humbled by the passage of time. He woke up with centuries of festering, burning hatred. In his mind, Esmeralda hadn't saved the world. She had committed the ultimate treason. The fact that the world dared to just keep existing without him as its master, he was absolutely furious. To really get where Khufra fits into the modern lore, it helps to look at the other key figures of the desert. On one side, you've got Moskov, who is entirely driven by profound pain, corruption, and this blind desire for revenge. On the other side, there's Khaleed, who represents courage, honor, and true heroic leadership. They're like two sides of the same coin in the modern Agelta Drylands, the fallen warrior and the noble protector. But Khufra, he's in a completely different league. He is the ancient nightmare. If Khaleed is the leader the desert needs to survive today, Khufra is the exact type of ruler they must never, ever allow to rise again. He's this living, undead reminder of what happens when someone is hopelessly addicted to control. He's not fighting to avenge a wrong or save his people. He's the tyrant who woke up hundreds of years later, looked at a completely changed world and thought, yep, every single grain of sand still belongs to me. He literally had it all, you guys. A thriving kingdom, an unstoppable army, cosmic magic, and genuine, true love. But none of it mattered, because his hunger for power was just endless. The world literally had to bury him alive just so it could survive. So I'm gonna leave you with this to think about. Now that the ancient seal is permanently broken, his undead hatred has been marinating for centuries, and his hunger for conquest is completely renewed. What on earth happens to the Land of Dawn next?
Namaste gamers! The Lazy Gamers Nepal को MLBB community हो. Hero stories, montage clips र tournament updates को लागि join हुनुहोस्.